Although watching the Crunchyroll Awards made me want to do stuff on the same level as Eren Yeager and Lelouch, one thing was certain. Your trash heads really like watching an overpowered main character doing nothing but aura farming his way through the whole show, huh? Cause how the hell do you explain solo leveling winning so many awards? It wasn't even the first freaking season! Anyways, without further delay, let's get into the top 10 anime with overpowered main characters. So to start off, we have Dies Irae. Now, this anime is just pure chaos, and no, I'm not talking about the pacing, which is admittedly a mess as well, but in raw, unfiltered energy. The main lead starts out as a blank slate, but quickly escalates into a world-ending powerhouse. We're talking full-on Fate Stay Nights, Heaven's Feel levels of destruction here, but the protagonist who can literally will enemies out of existence once he fully awakens. The main character's power isn't flashy spells or sword techniques, they're reality warping. Once he's tapped into his full strength, battles become philosophical brawls, where the battlefield, the laws of death, and even time itself starts to bend. But here's the problem. As I said before, the pacing of the storytelling is a wreck. The lore dumps are dense, the pacing is fractured, and unless you've played the visual novel itself, half the plot will fly over your head. It wants to be Evangelion meets Fate Zero, but ends up tangled in its own mess. But if you want to gobble up some great overpowered moments, then this one is for you. Next at number 9, we have Wise Man's Grandchild. Now this anime doesn't waste time pretending its protagonist is anything less than a walking cheat code. The main character is so absurdly overpowered that he makes Kirito from SAO look like he's still a newbie and grinding XP in the starter corner. From the jump, this dude is crafting nuclear-level magic spells and casually reinventing magic theory like it's middle school algebra. And yes, this is an isekai. With the most stereotypical setup you could ever imagine, the main character dies in our world and is reborn into a fantasy one, only to be raised by a legendary mage. And although that setup makes the anime seem like a generic isekai anime that drops every other season, Wise Man's Grandchild, wow, didn't think it would sound so weird, turns the dial to 11 by giving the main character almost no real challenges. He doesn't just win, he annihilates. One-shotting demon beasts, creating magical firearms, teaching entire military squads, this guy does all that in a single day's work. The upside is that if you're here for raw power fantasy, you'll be satisfied. The show doesn't pretend to be deep, it leans hard into its over-the-top battles in light comedy. So if you're of shows like The Misfit of Demon King Academy, you'll feel right at home. Then at number 8, we have World Break, Aria of Curse for a Holy Swordsman. So this anime is basically a smoothie. It crams every overpowered protagonist trope into a single reincarnated swordsman, which is obviously the main character. One thing that is unique about this show is that not only does he remember a past life, he remembers two, giving him a dual-class cheat sheet that makes most anime power systems look lazy by comparison. It's like giving Ainz Gaunt from Overlord both magic and weapon mastery, and putting him in high school with a harem. And the main character doesn't just win fights, he humiliates enemies with a casual flex of his broken abilities. Like, what else did you expect? The dude is living life on easy difficulty. The anime tries to wrap that around a school setting in a half-hearted romance plot, but let's be real here. It's the power fantasy that's doing the heavy lifting. But one critique I have regarding the show is that the pacing is just chaotic. The character development is paper thin, the world building feels copy-pasted from other popular isekai shows too. But it's still an enjoyable show. If you enjoy watching an edgy main character farm aura nonstop, then this one is for you. Next at number 7, we have Unlimited Fafnir. So basically this show checks every harem battle fantasy box with some pretty accurate precision, and then drops the main character into the center like the final boss disguised as a transfer student. He's the only male D, humans with the power of dragons, and from the moment he steps into the all-girls academy, it's clear. Bro's built differently. This guy is one of those protagonists who always knows more than he lets on. A calm, calculated powerhouse who rarely breaks a sweat. His battles are fast, precise, and completely one-sided. But I bet you've already guessed it, the characters are more bland than the CGI of Ninja Kamui, and what you'll get in terms of character development is that your love life is nowhere to be found. But still, the anime's pretty enjoyable. So if you're here to watch an overpowered main character do some overpowered crap, then give this one a try. And after that, at number 6, we have Chronos Ruler. Now this anime actually tries to take a unique route. It plays with time like other shows play with swords, and at the center is Victor, a man who controls time so thoroughly, it basically is unfair. He fights monsters called Horologs by rewinding time, speeding up attacks, or freezing movement entirely. It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3 meets Re:Zero, with Victor flexing Dio tier time abilities every time he unsheathes his clock blade. The concept is actually pretty cool. Every battle is a puzzle of seconds and timing, with Victor always 10 steps ahead. He's fast, he's sharp, and most enemies don't even know they've lost until he resets the moment. But here's the issue: the writing and pacing don't match the concept. The show stumbles through its world building and sometimes clutters fights with too much talking or weird exposition. And despite Victor's overpowered presence, the animation lacks the impact you'd expect from such an ability-driven series. It wants to be Fate Zero, but looks more like mid-tier show. Still, Victor's power-ups are pure hype. Next at number 5, we have Plunderer. Now, if you are anything like me, then the first thing you'd imagine is an edgy protagonist who is basically the stereotypical overpowered main character shown in every other fantasy anime. And that's basically the case here, but a bit more interesting. First off is the chaos. Flashy, ridiculous, and unapologetically over the top. And at the center of it all is a man so brokenly powerful, he makes Meliodas from Seven Deadly Sins look under-leveled. Now, at first glance, he's a pervy, aloof weirdo, but once the mask slips on, this guy becomes a full-on demon on the battlefield, set in a world where everyone has a number, or count, tied to some part of their existence. The main character's true count is in the tens of thousands, which is just shorthand for nobody else will stand a chance. His abilities are drawn from the era before the current world order, giving him access to ancient god-tier tech and powers that make modern enemies look like toys. So, want to go enjoy a simple yet entertaining show? Well, this one is pretty good. Then at number 4, we have Control, the money and soul of possibility. This is one of those high-concept anime that plays in the realm of ideas, economic battles, alternate dimensions, and abstract stakes. But what makes it stand out isn't just the premise, it's how the main character, a seemingly average college student, evolves into a force of nature within the financial district. He starts off clueless, gets pulled into a world of brutal monetary combat, and ends up one of the most dangerously resourceful players in the entire system. The main character doesn't have brute strength like Asta or cosmic cheat codes like Rimuru, but he's overpowered in a different way, through high-stakes economic manipulation and sheer will. As the battles become less about trading blows and more about strategic execution, the main character starts bending the entire system to his will. And although it's enjoyable, the show does stumble. Its pacing is uneven, and the economic metaphors get a little dense, not in a Steins Gate kind of way, but in a blink and you miss it plot. Still, it'll give you a fun time. And after that, at the third spot of today's list, we have Gun Sword. So, do you like revenge stories? If your answer is yes, then you are going to have a field day with this one, because this anime gives you the coldest, sharpest revenge arc in the form of Van. No, I'm not talking about the vehicle here. The main character's freaking name is Van, a man in black armed with a sword, a gun, and zero patience for anyone in his way. He's less of a hero and more of a storm, cutting through everything with single-minded rage. Think Spike from Cowboy Bebop if he stopped cracking jokes and started actually killing everyone. The main character's strength doesn't just come from swordplay, though he's fast, technical, and deadly up close. His true overpowered moment comes when he summons a mecha so powerful it doesn't fight opponents. It literally erases them. And although I did enjoy this anime, I still want to let you know about its flaws, so the anime just really struggles to set its tone. Because the revenge stuff is awesome, but then it tries to be quirky and edgy, and I didn't feel it blended all that well into the main plot. But if you're here for your good vengeance material, then this is for you. And at the second spot of today's list, we have the Unlimited, Hyobu Kyosuke. Now, this guy isn't just overpowered, he's on a different level. A sidekick prodigy, a criminal, and a would-be savior, because, of course he is. He's the main character, for God's sake. But what makes him so compelling isn't just the sidekick flexes, it's the confidence. He enters scenes already knowing he can outthink, outfight, or outright overwhelm anyone in front of him. His command over ESP is versatile. Mind control, energy blasts, barriers, levitation, and he makes it all look effortless. And the show itself is surprisingly sharp. A spin-off that arguably outclasses its parent in tone, style, and storytelling. The anti-hero vibe works really well, and the main character isn't here to make friends. He's here to burn the old system to the ground, and his powers backs that up every step of the way. But at the top spot of today's list, we have King's Avatar, an anime about RPGs. No, I'm not talking about Genshin or Wuthering Waves, so you weeps can go back to your den. So, in the world of Glory, he's not just a top-tier player. He's a legend. While most anime protagonists train, grind, or stumble into greatness, the main character starts episode 1 as a god-tier tactician who can dismantle opponents with surgical precision. He doesn't rely on overpowered gear or luck. He wins because he's smarter, faster, and more experienced than anyone else in the game. Unlike most isekai or MMO-themed anime like SAO or Log Horizon, King's Avatar grounds itself in the culture of real online gaming. There's no magic, no cheats, just the main character against the world, armed with a keyboard and a mouse, and a ridiculous skill ceiling. And yes, if you haven't guessed it yet, the anime is really bland in terms of storytelling and having an emotional connection with the viewers, although it is still pretty cool to watch. Well, that's the list for today, guys. If you're able to make it this far, please be sure to comment on which anime you think should have been on this list, and also, who your favorite overpowered main character is. Also, if you've been here a while but haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Subscribe to the channel, become part of the family. And also, don't forget to press on that bell icon and set us all to be notified about all our latest new videos. And as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.